Hello, welcome to episode 3. So time flies. It's been 72 hours now, so it's the third day officially. And it's been a little bit more difficult this time, I think, than I remember last time. Possibly because I was smoking the last time I did a fast, which is kind of another element to whether you can kind of get through it or not. I mean, I don't know if anyone's, no one's going to talk about that on channels in terms of sort of saying it helps you get through a fast. But I think for me, it probably did help. I know it can raise, I'm not sure if it raises blood sugar, but it sort of gives you a bit of a kind of boost. So yeah, I'm not doing that this time. But it's kind of felt a little bit harder at this stage. I think I've got into the kind of adaptation of fat a little bit late this time. It sort of, my body felt a little bit like it was a lot slower getting up to speed. But we're here now. It's 3 days, and overall, I think it's going okay. As I say, there's a few things that kind of around this stage of the fast, you kind of start to really try and have to kind of get into a routine with relying on things like coffee. For me, it's coffee anyway, black coffee, which doesn't break a fast. And that always gives me a little bit of a boost. I think I'm probably supplementing that instead of, when I was smoking the last time I did it about a year ago. Black coffee, like anything, if you have too much of it, again, that can make you feel a bit unwell. So it's just sort of in the morning that helps me kind of get going. And there's always the temptation to, put a bit of milk in it, but I mean, that technically breaks the fast. So I've avoided doing that up to now. Just using, basically black coffee, fresh coffee, not like instant. So at least I know it's got some kind of, strength to it. And so far I've been able to kind of get through, most of it without any issues. I did notice yesterday, around sort of just before I was going to go to bed, I noticed that I was feeling a little bit kind of achy. I had that sort of what they call keto flu, I think a lot of people talk about, and almost feels like you've got a cold coming along. I think your body again is retooling and trying to adapt. They call it fat adaptation, and sometimes that process can be, take longer for some people. So there's no fixed and fast rule about certain hours that you're going to go into different stages of the fast. But around 72 hours, we get into an area of the fast that's kind of the next stage on from autophagy. So in my last video, I talked a little bit about autophagy, which is just the kind of maintenance sort of clean up of the body, where after a certain amount of time, I think usually 48 hours, autophagy starts to kind of repurpose some of the cells that are left behind in your body, that are just basically like, they're just not really adding anything. They're, if anything, they could end up becoming, sort of abnormal material, like, which is sort of pre-cancerous. So this part of the fast actually starts to kind of break those dead cells down and repurpose them. It's basically like going around and cleaning things up and just retooling them to be used for building new cells, whatever those might be needed for. So that's an amazing part of the fast. It's really the part that a lot of people, they're looking for, that autophagy, rather than anything else like weight loss. I mean, the weight loss part of it is obviously going to happen if you're not eating and you're burning fat. But the autophagy part, you have to avoid having any kind of any calories at all. Even a little bit of milk in your coffee could sort of slow that process down. Weight loss will happen regardless, it'll just happen at different rates. But if you want the kind of cellular healing and repair, which is what I really want, I mean, I'd like a bit of weight loss as well, obviously, we all would, but I mean, for me personally, it's like I'd like to get as much of this cellular repair as I can, really. And so that's why I've really stuck to the black coffee, not doing any, allowing myself any little kind of, cheats here and there. And that can be a little bit boring, let's face it. It's like, that's about as exciting as it gets, is having a black coffee in the morning. The rest of the time it's water, and I might have a herbal tea, maybe a mint tea, sort of at times through the day. But yeah, the autophagy's, kind of like well on its way now. And we get into 72 hours, which is where I am now. And at this point, you're getting into kind of the immune system starts to get kind of worked on and improved. So some sort of process that happens, I don't know exactly how it works, but I mean, there's a process that basically takes some of the kind of I can't think of the word now, the cells that are they don't know what they're going to be yet. They're like proto cells, and they basically work on the immune system once they're sort of categorized to work on the immune system. So this part of the fast is where that all happens. They're like stem cells, I guess, something like that. So they can become lots of different cells, and this is the part where that rejuvenation of those cells, or the categorization of those cells can be assigned. So it's really, really important to get to this phase, because then you've got so much more kind of like health benefits coming from the fast. So it's tricky. I mean, not gonna lie, it's been a bit tough getting, and I'm not even halfway through yet. I'm only sort of 3 days in. So yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it, but you have to kind of really ready yourself for the fact that it can be a bit of a tough journey, but it's well worth it. Now, one of the other things that some people do sometimes is they get to this kind of phase and they're feeling like they're flagging a bit, and they use something called MCT oil, which I've used in the past, and that can really help. But the only problem with it is it kind of sort of, again, slows down the autophagy a little bit. So if you're just doing fasting for weight loss, then a lot of people use MCT oil because it doesn't spike your blood sugar, and it gives you a bit of a lift. It gives you kind of like sort of some relief from some of those hunger pangs and things like that. So it just helps you to get through a bit further into the fast, and that's fine, no problem with that at all. But it does have quite a big impact on the cellular repair side of things. It's just worth bearing that in mind. But I mean, it does work for a lot of people. The other thing I encountered was last night, especially, didn't sleep very well at all. My heart rate was quite up, and I'm not really sure what was causing that. I mean, I did have quite a lot of, I think I had quite a bit of Himalayan salt in the last water that I took, because I wanted to get the electrolytes replenished. And for some reason, sort of about 2 hours later, I started to get quite a high heart rate. And I thought, I don't know what that is. I mean, whether it's my body working on, cellular repair and that kind of thing, maybe your heart rate goes up a bit. I'm really not sure. I don't remember it happening last time, but it was just felt a bit like, I was keeping an eye on it, thinking, hold on a minute, not sure about this. But in the end, I was awake a lot more. I think this is the other thing, your brain is getting fed ketones, and it's a different kind of fuel. So if your brain's been used to living off, carbohydrate or other things that it's burning from fat, and your liver, then it's suddenly switching over to this new type of fuel. And I think sometimes you can almost kind of get a bit of a kind of rush. You're very awake, you're very alert, so it can interfere with your sleep cycle. And I don't feel really tired or anything. It's just that I didn't get a lot of sleep, so I was kind of 2 hours of sleep and then wake up for an hour, very wide awake, wanted to watch some TV or do something. I couldn't just lie there. So there can be that. It's like you're probably going to get a bit of disturbed sleep once things start get going within the fast. But I mean, yeah, just generally how I'm doing on day 3, I feel good. I do. I've definitely had a few sort of niggles along the way, but I think I'm starting to hit that sort of halfway period where you think to yourself, I'm settling into this now. I can just kind of carry on for a bit, because you kind of like walking up a hill. You start off and it's very quickly you realise, hold on, this is a bit of a task. But you keep going and you're pushing and pushing, and then you're kind of getting up the hill, and you get towards halfway and you think, I can do this. Maybe you adjust a little bit, but you've kind of you sort of know you've got it in you. And I think it's the same with a 7-day fast. I think if you're going to know by day, by this time, 72 hours, you're going to know whether you really want to push through it. And I hope I can. I mean, there's no reason why not, unless something happens which is, which worries me a lot, and I would stop straight away at that point. But yeah, at this stage, all going well. So I think it's going to be a bit of a short video today. But hopefully if you've enjoyed the videos up to now and you're interested in the subject, please like and subscribe, and leave comments about if you're doing a fast, if it's your first one, or if you've done it before, how you're sort of coping at 72 hours. Are you using MCT oil, or are you just going, for the cellular repair full on? It'd be interesting to get your comments, and thanks for tuning in for another video. See you on the next one.